What I'm going to be doing is I'll be using a Japanese maple already been trained. This has probably got about a dozen years on it. And we'll fit in here. It's slightly high, so I'm just going to root rake, and this should be a review, but this is the root rake, and what I do with that is rake the roots. So I'm going to uncoil what's coiled and then spread it, and if it's not going to work that way, we'll cut it off. But if you minimize the amount of roots you cut, you keep the growth going better. But see how that combs out the roots? And by cutting lightly and placing it like that, it's much more stable. So I'll be combing out a little bit more, and I'll have that position in there. And then once it's like that, cut lightly. Lightly prune stimulates the growth. Cut a lot and you can stun it. But I'm looking at. Once I get the bottom, I usually like to scratch this very top. See where they're coiled? If you get that uncoiled, you'll run into less problems in the future. So just kind of check on that. It's usually not a big problem, but if you address these tasks early, then it doesn't become a big problem. So just check the surface root, make sure they're not coiled, and then if you have one like this one that is going around, just cut it off. Once again, it's a review, but my soil that I'm using is 3 parts compost, 1 part sand to 1 part lava rock. And this is designed for our climate, which is very hot and dry in summer. It's not unusual to get past 110 degrees. And in the winter time, we get into the teens. Not minus, just in the teens. And this has been good for us here, but it's not to say that this is the best or the only soil that you can use. You should adjust to your region. Probably the best way is to check with your local nurseryman or bonsai clubs, or somebody's been doing bonsai for a while in your region, because each region would have a slightly different mix. And basically, I cover this so that it looks like it's always been here. Now you got to be checking the tilt. This is the front to you. And although this looks very much like bonsai, which it is, Bonniwa is nothing but a spin-off of many different things. And what I was going to do was I was going to put the little Japanese garden touch here. And so that it could be a very simple one like this. I got a rock. Let's see how that works. See, position that. And you know, there's a number of different ways to finish this, but for this one, for simplicity, I think I'm going to use something like that, where the lantern and the water basin already comes together. It simplifies things and also much more stable than having 2 different elements. This lantern is ceramic, but it has that metallic finish. And in one of my DVDs where I show you how to make it. This is the one in reduction. That's how I got the copper metallic look. So instead of a stone lantern, it looks like maybe it's made out of bronze or some sort of metal. And I thought, this is coming together. So rather than a simple bonsai, which this typically is if we took everything away, but it starts to become a little vignette of a Japanese garden. And that's all there is to Bonniwa. It's nothing mysterious, nothing difficult. It's just a slight modification and making it so that it gives you that little extra depth, and then hopefully it kind of reminds you of a garden that you visited. Or, you know, the other beauty of creating your own garden is that even if you've never been there, you could create something that you... When you use these, make sure you read the package instructions. I can't give you a blanket how much to put in because it depends on the formulation. So very important that you read the instructions and follow that exactly. And then I should put the finishing touches on it. Take the back end of the tweezer or root rake. It has a little spatula like. You push that down. Need a little bit more. There we go. That's all there is to taking a more typical bonsai and making it into one of the simplest Bonniwa. Gives you the indication that you're in a Japanese garden rather than looking at a single tree. Now, how simple was that?